Selamat siang. Selamat siang Mbak Laras.
Selamat siang, Bu Nia.
Ya, saya akhirnya ada diskusi ini. Ini masih nunggu pembicara yang lain ya, Mbak Laras.
Mhm. Mhm.
Masih belum masuk.
Siap.
Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All presenter participants, welcome to the parallel session of the second symposium on social science, organized by the Center for Southeast Asian Social Studies, Universitas Gadjah Mada. My name is Agni Damayanti, and I am the moderator for this session. Well, I'm very delighted that despite some restraints caused by the pandemic, this session is still made possible thanks to technology. And that's actually very much related to what we are going to discuss today, that is social science, ICT revolution, and the future of humanity. And to discuss the issue, we have four presenters joining us. The first one is Mr. Nopriyadi Saputra from Universitas Bina Nusantara, Indonesia. And the second one is Mr. Lee An Jung from People Security Academy Vietnam. And the third one is Ms. Lara Susanti from the Faculty of Law, Universitas Gadjah Mada, Indonesia. And the last one is Mr. Kan Ngoc Tran. I think I'm mistaken. I think this is Mrs. Kan Ngoc Tran from the Department of Applied Culture, Faculty of Cultural Studies, University of Social Sciences and Humanities, Vietnam National University, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. And before we start the presentation session, allow me to inform you some rules of this parallel session. Each of the presenters will have 15 to 20 minutes to deliver the presentation. And then after all presenters have completed their presentations, we will have around 15 minutes of discussion session. And the audience are welcome to ask questions at any time. Please do so by writing down your question on the chat tab. And please write your name, the institution you're affiliated with, and to whom you will address your question to. I hope we will have a fruitful discussion afterwards. And without further ado, let's start the presentation session. And for the first presenter, I will invite Ms. Lara Susanti from the Faculty of Law, Universitas Gadjah Mada. She will present her research entitled The Role of Information and Communication Technology to Support Indonesia's Justice System and Society to Protect Children from Underage Marriage. Please, Ms. Lara Susanti, you have around 15 to 20 minutes. The floor is yours.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Can you see my screen now? Is it clear?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah,
Is it clear?
thank
It is
you.
clear, yeah.
As it is mentioned, my name is Lara Susanti. I work at the Faculty of Law, Universitas Gadjah Mada, and also I am a researcher at Center for Law, Gender, and Society, where I've been working in this issue for this couple years back. And today I'm going to present my paper. So this presentation is grew out from my research. Still ongoing research. The title of this presentation is The Role of Information and Communication Technology, ICT, to support Indonesia justice system protecting children from underage marriage. So before I begin with to describe initial findings from this research, I would like to first explain the research question and how the research is conducted. So I focus to answer three questions. First is how is the development of legal frameworks concerning child marriage in Indonesia has developed, and then how is the development of ICT to transform the service of Indonesia courts for public. And then the third question, how would the use of ICT would support the performance of Indonesia court to protect children in case of child marriage? To analyze data, I employ multidisciplinary legal research by analyzing legal and socio-empirical data. Not only I study legal data includes binding laws, but also socio-empirical data that I got from in-depth interview with research person from district court judges in Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta province, whereas they've been dealing to decide, examine cases on child marriage dispensation or petition. And also, although I haven't finished that yet, I'm planning to also conduct interview with the representatives of Indonesia Ministry of Women Empowerment and Child Protection, or in bahasa Kementerian Pemberdayaan Perempuan dan Perlindungan Anak, and also local officers of the Center for Women Empowerment and Child Protection under the local government in the DI Yogyakarta province area. So those are my research question, and then how the research is conducted. So now move on to the backgrounds of this research. As you may already aware that Indonesia has this current high prevalent number of child marriage. It is frightening, and it is predicted to keep on rising due to the effect of COVID-19, to the rising of poverty in Indonesia, and also there's problem of the rising of conservatism, and also there's another problem how the social media depicts or giving pictures of marriage as a young age is a solution, for instance, to avoid zina or adultery here in Indonesia. There are also some of the problem that will influence on the rising of child marriage from years to come. As in global spectrum, Indonesia has the 8 highest absolute numbers of child brides. This is according to UNICEF. So with this being said, what do the Indonesian government or the Indonesia in general has done to tackle these issues? So answering the first question on how is the development of Indonesia legal frameworks concerning child marriage in Indonesia. So Indonesia successfully has developed its legal framework when it comes to child protection. As you can see here, not only Indonesia enacted its own legal framework on child protection, but also Indonesia ratified convention, even the protocol of the Convention on the Rights of the Child. So not only national standard, but also we follow international standard on child protection. However, it is a different case when it comes to family cases involving children, such as marriage, because it falls under the plural legal order of Indonesia legal system. Not only national standard and international standard exist, there is also the existence of the other normative ordering, such as family law and family law under Islamic law, and also under adat law and other religious law in Indonesia. For instance, I myself as a Muslim, not only I have to comply with the national standard when it comes to family cases, but also I have to follow my personal status as a Muslim. So what is child marriage? Child marriage is any marriage under state law or other normative orderings, because as I mentioned, those or other normative ordering also have their own governance when it comes to minimum age of marriage. And it is involving children, typically those who are under minimum age of marriage. So long ago, over more than 70 years, the existence of law on marriage is there. But right now it's been changed. It's been changed by the Constitutional Court decision, which say that the minimum age under the law, which is 19 for boys and 16 for girls, is violating the Constitution. And the Constitutional Court orders the government to change the government and the the representative House of Representative or DPR of Indonesia to change the law. As per October right now, the minimum age of marriage is in Indonesia is 19 for boys and also 19 for girls. So it's equal right now. And surprisingly, and we will also be very happy because it is also mentioned in the amendment, because I also parts of the drafter of the amendments of the law. We are very happy because the law also mentioned that child marriage is allowed only in certain circumstances in which parents may petition court to get permission. So it is not just parents want to marry of their children, but they have to show what are the reason. Is it compelling enough or not to marry of their children? And it is important that the Supreme Court followed the Constitutional Court decision and the change of law on marriage, the amendment of law and marriage by enacting Supreme Court Regulation number 5 year 2019, concerning guidance on marriage dispensation procedure. So one of the things to emphasize under this guidance, judges are obliged to advise parents and children on the risk of child marriage and to seek further whether coercion exists, whether the children been forced to enter such marriage. And they have to hear from the children and also summon relevant institution to get further examination on child physical and also psychological condition before they granted such marriage permission. With those being said, seems that it is promising that Indonesia could tackle this problem better than a few years back, but it is not the case right now. As you may be already aware, the first semester of 2020, there is the rise of cases where parents petition court to get their children married at a young age. Many cite that the condition of COVID-19 put people at a poverty level even worse, and children got the impact as well. And also, as I mentioned, child marriage is a complex problem. It is not only being forced by poverty, but it is collective and it's also part of social problem. Whereas according to Hori, for instance, there are several other reasons why children marry at young age. There is this conviction to religion. There is this local perception of marriageable age, escaping broken homes, mutual love, even also conflicts between the values of morality and sexuality. And also there is a problem with society pressure or family reputation pressure. And I found also on my research that nowadays there is a trend that idolize young marriage promoted by conservative religious groups on social medias. So it is also another factor, while many other young people think that there is this fairy tale of young marriage. And then also to those being said, it is not enough to only change the law and then guide judge, or this is what they have to do, but there is also a need of local context and also policy framework that tailor to the local context, and to invite the collectiveness of the society to work together to tackle this problem. So it is not mentioned yet in Indonesia legal frameworks on the issue of local context and society collectiveness, let alone if nowadays we are coming to the digital era, it is not mentioned at all in the legal framework on protection children, how digital era or ICT, for instance, could help to protect children. So that is for the first question. And then for the second question, from my initial findings, I found that the Indonesia Supreme Court, as the lead of district courts in Indonesia, has developed its system, what we call as e-court system. So this e-court system has been praised by many other countries as well, as Indonesia now changed its not only administrative procedure for trial, not only sending documents, but also conduct the litigation through technology, consisting of e-filing, e-payment, e-summons, and e-litigation. So numbers of lawyers already registered under the court system. And with this Supreme Court regulation and also the implementation since 2018, I found some of research regarding this issue shows that the court been followed, district court been trying to perform, but there is also a problem that they face, such as lacking staff capacity and then ICT facilities not the same between one area to other area, and there is also connection trouble, let alone the facts of geographical barrier and also internet access barrier in Indonesia. And there is this deeply rooted manual culture hinder the optimization of ICT usage. So for this deeply rooted manual culture, I'm thinking about to do further as being of legal anthropologist to study this, but maybe not in this research, but this is something that I keep to my mind, that we have to study more on this cultural barrier and use my position as a jurist or legal scholar to use other types of approach, such as anthropological approach to study this. And as for the third research question, as I mentioned. So there is the condition of this prevalent child marriage in Indonesia, and there is this changing the traditions in Indonesia legal system, in court system, and how could the ICT or at least digitalization of data in e-court system could help protecting children. So I have studied several other research concerning ICT, the keywords, and also child protection. So typically they focus on the child protection case management in emergency or CPCME. So it's been used in international organizations such as UNICEF, where they change to study cases and then to use the big data also to help manage cases in many other countries, especially to the at the headquarters of UNICEF. So it is found that the use of ICT when it comes to CPCME, it must include several platforms. So according to Mostu and Munga, so there's this what we call as digitalization of process, and then child helplines, and then SMS-based citizen reporting, road mapping, mobile search survey tools, big data analysis, and tech different driven advocacy campaign. So those are that been found been used by other countries when it comes to protecting children through ICT, through the help of ICT. So other thing that I found from other previous researcher, it is found that it is not enough to only digitalize the data, but also important to share the data. And then there is this growing number to get more friendly with the society. With those being said, my initial findings is, first, as we can see, Indonesian legal framework on child marriage has developed, but it is not open the possibility of further collective efforts from the society, let alone the effort more of the Indonesia justice system. And then second, when it comes to Indonesia in court, it has enabled courts to digitalize information, but it is also not enough. Why don't we connect it? So by this digitalization of information, the Indonesian court must also share it with the Ministry of Women Empowerment and Child Protection, especially those local officers under the local government, because nowadays, still until now, what we have is only the data on how many child marriage occur from the national census. But we don't have exactly the name and then what do they need, because once judges say that giving permission to the parents to marry of their children, that's it. Children is left from their parents and also by the state. Although they're still children, they need to get their education finished. They need to be supported financially, psychologically by parents, by the state, also by the court, which is the institution granted the permission, for instance. And also for the important things for to get further assistance from social workers under the local officers of the division of the women empowerment and child protection to enable those kind of things, digitalize information and the sharing data between the court of the Indonesia justice system and the Ministry of Women Empowerment and Child Protection need to be seriously been thinking about by Indonesia government. And also with those being said, we could open wider collaboration with other institutions. And it is also been my concern and also my colleagues' concern as we were working on the amendments of the law on marriage. What's gonna happen after the child, for instance, got married? Can we provide them with online education, for instance, so they still could pursue that education although they already married? Now, there's so many cases in Indonesia, whereas the local government says that although you got married, you still can further your education at public school, but the public school says that you cannot enter or enroll for classes because you're gonna be a negative influence for other students. So how to use this ICT? It's been my concern. It's been my interest nowadays to help to connect the relevant stakeholders and also the society of Indonesia to protect children from child marriage, and also after they got married, how can we help them. So I think that's for the presentation, and I look forward to hear question or maybe a recommendation on this issue. Thank you, and I give back the floor to Bu Ahnia.
Well, thank you very much, Mbak Laras. Well, it is very interesting research actually, and what I can highlight from what Mbak Laras has been sharing with us is the transformation of legal framework regarding to the underage marriage should be supported by policy framework, collectiveness, and also cultural context. Uh, and besides that, the development of ICT could also support in data digitization, data sharing, and information processing to improve the collectiveness aspect. And maybe you can discuss further on how the ICT development or the ICT aspect of this initiative could be optimized, and we can discuss the discussion session later. Okay, we now move on to the second presenter. And now I would like to invite Mr. Lee An Dung from People Security Academy Vietnam. And since he is unavailable right now, we will play you the pre-recorded presentation from Mr. Lee An Dung. And although he is not here, you can still ask a question in the chat tab, and we will forward your question. Maybe you can also write down your email so he can write you back with the answers. Okay, please. The floor is to Mr. Lee An Dung.
My name is Lê Anh Dũng. I'm a lecturer from the Department of Political Theory in People's Security Academy of Vietnam. Today, I'm in charge of delivering a PowerPoint presentation to the Committee of Symposium Social Science. Today, I would like to discuss the pros and cons of social network in education of human personality development. My presentation has three main parts. The first part, I would like to mention the benefits of social network in education of human personality development. The second part is about the drawbacks of social network. And the last one, I would like to propose several solutions to improve the effectiveness of social network. The first one, the benefits of social network. You can see social network gives effortless connections among humans. There are currently 3.8 billion users of social network around the world, accounting for nearly 49% of the global population. Facebook, YouTube, or WhatsApp. With such huge number of users, people are all interconnected regardless of distance or country border. Via the social network, an individual can easily acquaint himself with a brand new environment and develop a positive personality traits. For example, if you want to learn a foreign language, you can join with a group of foreign friends, and you have many conversations with native speakers, and that helps you to improve your own language remarkably without any extra cost or time on foreign language centers or even traveling abroad. So I can see that interconnectivity will help humans learning a vast amount of knowledge that are not included in academic curriculum and leading to the proper foundation of development of a personality that are in accordance with cultural, ethics, and social norms. The second benefit of social network is its immense source of knowledge. Today, rapid development of the internet has enabled humans to enter a new era of digital knowledge while sitting at home using social network such as Facebook or Instagram. We can search for virtually any kind of information of your interest, regardless of ages, genders, ethnicities, or races. For instance, a person who stays in Vietnam can learn about the social and cultural aspects of Indonesia through YouTube channel with the help of a smartphone. Positively speaking, the social network plays an important role in dissemination of information, allowing citizens to learn and perfect themselves in terms of personality. And the next beneficial aspect of the social network is the easy access to education system for users. You can see now online education is becoming more and more popular and more favorable because of its flexibility, affordability, high interaction between students and teachers. And especially in the context of COVID-19 pandemic, I believe that online education is a good choice for young people all over the world. And the last beneficial impact of the social network is the contribution to comprehensive human personality. Nowadays, the social network are offering more and more courses that teach cooking, foreign language, repairing, communication, psychology, sports. I mean, if you want to learn something, go online. And with the help of society, individuals are gradually perfecting themselves by sharpening skills such as social skill, multi-language skill, communication, and good personality. And people are given a chance to show themselves to the world through social network. You can press like button on an article or a picture, a video of your interest, and you can express your anger, your excitement, or your affection for anything that you like. And I think that these given arguments above demonstrate the positive value and dramatic impact of the social network on the education of humans' personality development in modern society. And the next part, I would like to mention the drawbacks of social network in education of humans' personality development. The first is social network separates user from the real world. On social networking platform, we don't always express ourselves as who we are, but rather who we want to be or who others want to see. It could be anything, the smartest, the best, the most successful. The consequence is that there could be an imbalance between the real self and the virtual self. And I think it will destroy your true personality of such an individual. And next, social network will limit your language ability. I mean, your language ability will be deteriorated as it requires a few typing pressing the send button and receiving replies from the other. On the long run, the communication language will be limited because you don't have many chances to practice. And the next dangerous impact of social network is people are likely to suffer from depression or stress. You know that depression is also a consequence of excessive use of social network, and we should take it into our serious consideration. Negative comments or cyberbullies can lead to depression, hopelessness, or pessimism. And in many cases, people are boycotted or isolated by malicious comments by cyberbullies. And the next part is about your likely exposure to inaccurate and toxic educational information on the internet. You know that while being a channel to receive, contain, and spread information, social network contains a vast amount of unverified, misleading contents, fake news, shocking titles that attract likes and comments, making users to suffer from distress, anxiety. Even more dangerously, you know, today terrorist organizations are using social network to recruit soldiers, encourage users to conduct terrorism activities, teach how to use bombs, how to get weapons through security control gates. And I think in these circumstances, social network appears to be very, very dangerous to the humankind. And in this presentation, I will give you the effective measures, recommendations to improve and to utilize the social network in a very, very effective way. The first, we need to complete and solidify the legal system policies in countries and territories. You know, to develop a system of regulating the social network. And the second, we need to improve the quality of education on social network. Recently, the world has been struck by the COVID-19, interrupting traditional education more than ever. Schools and education organizations need to actively utilize the social network because of its flexibility, affordability, high interaction, diverse educational contents to attract learners around the world. And finally, I think it is time for the collaboration between countries across the world and every individual. The users themselves play an important part in optimizing the effectiveness of the social network. And users are encouraged to improve awareness to cope with dangers in contents on social network. They also need to differentiate between toxic, malicious, and useful good information. They need to speak out their voices to criticize illegal activities in their own living area, leading to the construction of a more civilized and better cyberspace. So, in the modern world, we have to embrace the good values of social network that it brings to the humankind. But of course, we need to accept the disadvantages of social network. However, we need the cooperation, the collaboration between countries across the world, the responsibility of individuals to make the online world a better place for the humankind. Here is my references for the presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for Mr. Lee Andong, who has delivered his presentation, and he explored the benefits and downside of social network sites for education purpose. And he also proposed some solutions to alleviate the drawbacks of using the social network sites. That is, legal system and policies regarding the usage of social networking sites should be improved. And then the digital literacy of the internet citizen should also be improved. And he encouraged the collaboration through social network sites between countries. And although Mr. Lee is unable to attend the session, you still can ask him some questions. Please just write down your question in the chat tab, and then we will forward your question to the presenter. And don't forget to also write down your email so that the presenter can write you back. Well, for the next presenter, we will invite Mr. Nopriyadi Saputra from Universitas Bina Nusantara to present his research entitled Productivity in Indonesia, First Time Experience of Virtual Working During COVID-19. I think this is very relevant to what we are currently facing. And unfortunately, Mr. Nopriyadi is also unable to attend this meeting, so we will hear his pre-recorded presentation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, respected moderator, and all attended symposium participants. I'm Nopriyadi Saputra from Bina Nusantara University. Want to present the paper Work from Home Productivity in Indonesia, First Time Experience of Virtual Working During COVID-19 Times. This paper is based on a collaborative research or study from the 5 universities, from Bina Nusantara, from Universitas Trunojoyo, from State Pariwisata Indonesia, Universitas Jember, and Universitas Riau. Introduction. The empirical research study found the higher skill level and the bigger portion of professional and managerial staff in the workplace, the more possible WFH is to be offered as the fixed employment option. The immediately WFH instruction for the all office worker in Indonesia makes employee productivity, survivability of business, and the national economic growth drop. The job portion, which could be conducted from home, is an important input for estimating the economic performance during this social distancing period. And individual performance productivity of the workers may be differ considerably when the WFH rather than usually workplace. Based on this point of view, WFH productivity become a crucial issue in macro and microeconomics perspective. As a substitute working arrangement, WFX productivity is still questioned by the organization, especially from the organization which ran WFH broadly at the first time. This study apply organizational behavior theories and view the WFX productivity as a behavior is influenced by many factors, by many antecedents, by individual, group, and organizational antecedents. And individual antecedent is influenced by group antecedent, and group antecedent influenced by the organizational antecedent. Literature review. WFH, work from home, is already known as the teleworking telecommuting virtual office, which is defined as a remote work arrangement in regular and temporary basis, which facilitate people to work flexibly from any location rather than office conventionally. In this study, work from home productivity is reflected into quantitative outcome and qualitative outcome. An individual antecedent is an internal factor which comes from inside of people, such as personality, personal intelligence, perception, motivation, preference in decision making, competence or skill, and many others. This study defined and reflected individual antecedent as working motivation and digital skill. Group antecedent is external factor which come from social surrounding, office worker. They are superior, subordinate, team match, external party, and others. The study defined group antecedent into digital leadership from the supervisor and digital collaboration from the teammates. Organization antecedent in this paper is defined as the external factor which come from the organization where the office work for. Those factors are management system, regulation, policy, technological support, performance management, and the capability of top management team are several factors of the organization antecedent. This study define or identified the organization factor is reflected into performance management and perceived organizational support. Methodology. The study is exploratory qualitative cross-sectional study by using PLS SEM for data analysis. The data was collected online questionnaire from April 11 until June 25. Sampling method is used. Sampling method used combine convenience and snowballing. The respondent are personal network of the researcher from 5 universities in Indonesia. The respondents is about 824 office worker from 32 provinces all over Indonesia. Most of them, 75%, are working for organization permanently. In some company, 40% and 8%. Only 18.6% of respondents has ever been conducting WFH before COVID-19 pandemic. The most of them are the first timer. Based on the demographical profile, the respondent is distributed equally by gender. They are mostly more than 30 years old with the experience more than 5 years. They have educational background in bachelor degree and master degree. Most of them stay at 6 provinsi: Sumatera Barat, Jawa Timur, Jawa Barat, Jawa Tengah, Jogja, and Jakarta. For data analysis, the first time we conduct the validity and reliability analysis. We use 4 indicators: autoloaders indicators, autoloader scores, comba alpha scores, composite reliability scores, and average variance extracted. For the items or indicators, validity is determined by the autoloader scores. Only item with the autoloader more than 0.6 is included. So in this table, we can see that the item included is more than 0.6. The item is valid. For the variable and dimension validity, we use average variance extracted score. Average variance extracted score must more than 0.5. On this table, we can see that all dimension, all variable, and its dimension has average variance extracted score more than 0.5. So all variable and its dimension are valid. For the reliability, we use comba alpha or composite reliability, the score must more than 0.7. So we can see in this table or dimension and variable have more than 0.7. Yeah, exclude working motivation. Working motivation has a combo alpha 0.690, but the composite reliability score is more than 0.7. So we can conclude that working motivation are reliable too. So all the variable, all dimension, all items are valid and reliable for measuring the research model. For the measurement model of the research model, the relationship between variable and its dimension, we can see that WFS productivity and its dimension, qualitative outcome, quantitative outcome, individual attention with the digital skill, working motivation, group antecedent with the digital collaboration, and digital leadership, organization antecedent with the performance management support, has fat coefficient with the T statistic and V values, p-values less than 0.05 and the statistic is more than 109896. So we can conclude that the relationship between the variable and its dimension is significant or relevant. For the hypothesis testing, we have a 6 hypotheses. From the 6 hypotheses, 3 accepted and 3 rejected. The result is the work from home productivity is influenced by individual attendance antecedent, is not influenced by the group or organizational antecedent directly. Group antecedent influence work from home productivity indirectly, is directly influence the individual antecedent, and the organizational antecedent influence the group antecedent. Result and discussion. WFS productivity is influenced directly by working motivation and digital skill. The office worker as individual antecedent. These individual antecedents are influenced by digital skill and digital collaboration as group antecedent. And finally, the group antecedent are influenced by performance management and perceived organizational support as the organizational antecedent. For improving employee productivity in doing WFS, the management of organization should focus to develop digital skill and maintain the working motivation. The digital leaderships of supervisor and manager should be aligned for developing digital skill and working motivation of office worker. Performance management and perceived organization support should be directed to develop the digital skill, digital leadership of supervisor and digital collaboration of teammates. For the future research, the study recommends the researcher to use first-order type model which connected digital skill, working motivation, digital leadership, digital collaboration, performance management, and perceived organizational support directly to the work from home productivity. The research model should be expanded by inserting the other impactful factor on the WFH productivity. Conclusion, WFX productivity is a strategical issue in COVID-19 era for the organization. Developing productivity of office workers can be stimulated by improving digital skill and working motivation. leadership and collaboration capability of supervisor and manager should be directed for improving digital skill and maintaining working motivation of office workers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nopriadi Saputra from Universitas Bina Nusantara. Although he is unable to be here with us, you can still ask him questions. And what I want to highlight from his presentation is that research has found that although there are factors in the workplace, such as individual, group, and organizational factors, it turned out that the main predictor of uh, productivity and working from home arrangement is individual factors. In this case, working motivation and digital skill. So the presenters just said that if the company want to improve the productivity of working from home, they should address it on the working motivation and digital skills of the workers. Okay, and that's from the third presenters. Now we move on to the fourth and our last presenter. And our last presenter is Ms. Kan Ngot Tran from the Department of Applied Culture, Faculty of Cultural Studies, University of Social Sciences and Humanities, Vietnam National University, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam.
Dear scientists, I am very pleased to take part in symposium with the title Cultural Industry in Correlation to the Urbanization Process. My speech is consisting of two parts. Part 1, Industrialization and Market Economy. Part 2, Cultural Industry and Mass Consumption in the Process of Urbanization. And finally, conclusion. Part 1, Industrialization and Market Economy. 1. Industrialization and Process. From the perspective of cultural history, industrialization emerged from the Neolithic when humans developed tools and technical means for agricultural production. It is the achievement of a long process rooted primarily in human activities. Different from a mutant revolution, the process requires a quantitative integration over periods until a leap in quality is met. What is industrialization? Industrialization is a transition period, shifting the mode of operation from agricultural production to industrial production, and then to convert a production economy to a market economy. It is a process of gradual, sequential, and inward transformation according to objective laws. It improves not only the material life, but also produces a non-material spiritual life, commonly referred to as cultural industries. 2. Mode of operation and market economy. Since the Neolithic, mankind has converted from a fragile economy to a production economy in agriculture and then industry. It is the conversion to a new mode of operation associated with production activities opening up a new era. People create a surplus product for the first time, leading to change activities in a process called urbanization. The birth of city is an indicator of the emergence of a market economy. The first cities have activities to link the supply of agricultural products and handicrafts, initially establishing the correlation between supply and demand of goods. The market economy is the companion of production activities, appearing simultaneously with the urbanization process. We have a diagram of modes of operation and operate for consumer demands. 3. The holistic correlations of the urbanization process. 3.1, agriculture and industry. The object of agriculture is the land, and the object of the industry. In practice, industrialization is the process of transitioning the mode of operation from agricultural production associated with land and natural products in rural areas to industrial production associated with markets and commodity products in urban areas. In theory, commodity products in urban areas, industrialization is conceptualized only with commoditization. So, agricultural and industrial production has converted commercial and service activities into the mode of operation to supply goods in the market, meeting the consumer demands in the urbanization process. We have a diagram to convert into market economy in the process of industrialization and urbanization in the market economy. 3.2, labor and production correlation. In agricultural production, labor has a specific use value because the product is consumed directly. In industrial production, labor has an abstract exchange value because the products are consumed indirectly. This difference in industry labor is not only due to the social division of labor, i.e. the social relations of production or the production engineering process, but also the role of the market economy through commercial and service activities. This means that the market economy, not industrialization, converts labor power into an input commodity in industrial production by converting labor of specific use value into the labor of abstract exchange value. 3.3, production and commercial correlation. Agricultural and industrial production relies on the commercial and service activities of tertiarization, meaning dependence on the commodity market. So, the market economy is the output of production activities. Commercial and service activities are work when there is a demand for goods in the market and vice versa. Production is closely associated with commerce, making commerce the final source of production. The market economy can be compared to a second natural mother. English, human-made products replace natural products. Commerce and services act as midwife, bringing cultural goods to consumers. 3.4, people and merchandise correlation. People are not a machine for production activities. They can use a machine and technology to replace labor. They go for the purpose of ensuring the living demands, consuming output goods. Consumption of tangible and intangible goods is the ultimate objective of human beings through modes of operation and economic technical progress in the process called urbanization. Here is a table objective in the process of human activities. And a table mode of operation, mankind activities in the mode of operation with the economy and technique progress to get culture achievements in the urbanization process. Part 2, cultural industry and mass consumption in the process of urbanization. 1. Engineering for mass reproduction of cultural industries. The engineering for mass reproduction of cultural industry, newspaper, music, film, television, etc. can be a milestone for converting commercial and service activities into a mode of operation for the dissemination of cultural goods for everyone. Trade and services affirm that The human subject is the decisive factor in the creation and consumption of cultural goods, making industrial production dependent on production and supply chains in global markets. The fields of industrial production, cultural industry, including information technology, are all tools and means to promote mass consumption. 2. Mass consumption of cultural goods. The advent of cultural industry also acknowledged the inevitable trend of mass consumption. From the 1920s, entertainment civilization was born due to its free time recognized by society. It is a consequence of socio-economic conversion, making all products and assets, including heritage goods, for consumption. Since the mid-20th century, along with the mass reproduction of cultural industry, entertainment is no longer regarded as an alienation of the masses, and vice versa. Mass culture is not just entertainment activities. Not coincidentally, this is the time of in-depth urbanization, in which all components of the population are consumers of cultural goods, both physically and mentally and manually. 3. Correlation of the urban cultural environment. The process of urbanization originated in the Neolithic when humans began to reproduce their second natural environment. Not coincidentally, it was the moment to establish the first master of culture, manifested in the form of cultivation and husbandry. According to the mode of operation of agricultural production, during this period, peasants left their fields to flock to urban areas, originally rooted in ecumenical economic phenomena. They concentrate the population to create life and reproduce the living environment in the process of urbanization that we call urban culture. So culture is the process of creating life, and urbanization is the process of reproducing the whole living environment, forming a trio correlation between people and natural, technical, and social environment, which we call the urban cultural environment. In correlation to the natural environment, people no longer live nomads, but convert to agricultural and industrial activities. They protect the natural environment, only preserve the living environment, prevent natural catastrophes, epidemics, and human-caused disasters. In correlation to the technical environment, undergoing industrialization periods, they achieve technical progress in transportation, communication, and digital, thereby gradually eliminating space, distance, time, and volume. In correlation to the social environment, thanks to the activities of changing tangible and intangible goods in the market, they gradually expand the space of conjuration, civilized exchange on global scope, requiring a sustainable development in correlations between people and the environment. Conclusion: the emergence of cultural industry in correlation to the urbanization process probably requires redefining a series of conceptions of industrialization, cultural goods, market economies, and the modes of operation associated with human activities in the cultural history of humanity. Cultural in general, economic and technical factors in particular can be considered as a threat throughout the urbanization process. It is a process of transitioning sequentially in woven through modes of operation from the foreign economy to manufacturing economy and converting from a production economy to a market economy. Cultural achievements cannot be achieved overnight, in which Industry and cultural industry are no exception. Many of today's consequences of industrial revolutions, science and technology, information and communication, including digital, are not out of the orbit of urbanization. Thanks for your appreciation. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for Mr. Kanngotran from the Vietnam National University. He explained the correlation process of industrialization and the process of urbanization that is linked by human activities, in this case, consumption activities of tangible and intangible goods that convert the production economy to market economy. And since only Miss Laras is joining us today, so I think she is the only one who will be able to answer the question live. And but you still can ask questions to other presenters. We will forward your questions. So don't forget to write also your email address, so that the presenters who are unable to attend can write you back. Okay. For now, I think I will I will read some question that is directed to Mbak Laras. From Mbak Mutia from the Department of Communication Studies. Mbak Laras, what do you think about the prospect of ICT use in rural area, which their infrastructure is not good enough, and the context of on the context of child marriage prevention? Yeah, Mbak Laras, you can.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Bu Mutia. So I also would like to address the question from Bu Ahnia before. How would the ICT would take place or take an action in these issues? Yes. First, as I also already mentioned, in the implementation of e-court, there's been a problem with internet access throughout Indonesia, and it is been right now been developed by the Supreme Court, and it's getting better as more and more development and also the procurement of the ICT itself been surprisingly increasing, and the numbers of lawyers and also legal scholars in the field in many areas also become more aware on the e-court establishments. So what I would like to say that yet the internet access and also the ICT facilities is a hindrance, but we can still do the semi-manual when it comes to data sharing. So while we waiting the establishment of the ICT facilities and also to get a better internet access throughout Indonesia, the semi-manual mechanism when it comes to child emergency and protection can be implemented. So I am inspired by the experiments and experience, sorry, by many other countries. If you ever heard the Amber Alert system, so it is very well known in the US and also been adapted to many other European countries. So what I'm thinking to the question how ICT plays role in that, typically I would like to emphasize that this ICT and also the information technology and the internet could connect the relevant agencies or officers when such marriage dispensation is filed. So when parents file petition to the court. So like an Amber Alert system, the court should notify relevant officers, such as I mentioned, social workers in the area. And then the social workers in the area, of course, they know about the area, and they may also can find out and help the court to examine whether, as I mentioned, coercion, whether they've been forced to get married, for instance, whether there is a falsified information, and be actively court with maybe under the court there is also the specific communication officer can also invite and by the order of the judge, a relevant institution or officer that would help them to examine the case. For instance, um, these local officers or what we call as social workers could inform the focal person or for instance the village officers and also other focal under the customary system, for instance kepala adat, for instance, when such thing happens. So this kind of collaboration also occur in other country, what we call as panchayat in India, whereas it is not only about the court and about the state, but also the society been actively providing information to the relevant officer when this kind of case happens. And that is for the pre or before the marriage petition is examined. While the marriage dispensation or petition examined, as I mentioned, court may summon relevant institution, and also if uh, at the end of the day, for instance, in the case of unexpected pregnancy, the trend is the court will grant it such permission because it is hard for in Indonesia spectrum. If the court did not grant such permission, then the child will be out of wedlock child, and there's gonna be more and more problem. By granting such permission, the role of ICT afterwards is that also to give notification to relevant institution, as I mentioned, such a social workers to help the children to prepare for their new life that they didn't expect before and give them, for instance, the trainings and then also the support that they need physically, financially from the parents, and also if they are entitled for such support from the government financially, then they should be helped to enroll such system. With those being said, we could and also channel it with education platform, for instance, so they can still pursue their education. With those collaboration action, I do believe that first court will get a better understanding about the case because they've been helped with the society. It is not only about business as usual. Look at to the documents and the parent says we don't have any objection and let them get married anyway. But court can hear from local or focal persons in the area of the children and also relevant institution to examine children physical and psychological condition. And afterwards, children are not left alone, and then they've been supported to still follow education and also been supported psychologically and financially by the parents as well. I think those are my thoughts when it comes to how the ICT would play that, and then also how right now again, oh, I'm sorry, to get back to Mbak Mutia, what I mean by semi manual, meaning that the court got the documents of the children, meaning name, address, and then what is the reason why the parents want to marry off their children. So this can be sent to the local officers, for instance. And this is also need regulation to specifically govern about the data privacy of the children. So that's another thing that need to further research to what extent this kind of ICT involvements first protect children, second is to also protect children from child marriage, and second provide data privacy protection for the children as well. I think that is all. I hope that answering the question. I believe that this is an important issue, but there's so many other questions that need to be answered with further research. As it is still ongoing research, hopefully I can come up with more and more research on this issue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Laras. If I may ask one more question, because I'm wondering, I don't know if it is related specifically to your research or not, but yeah, I just wondering how to communicate this kind of innovation, yeah, ICT innovation to society at large. I mean, how to encourage their participation, how to break the spiral of silence, because sometimes underage marriage happen because they do not want to report it to the law enforcement, for example.
Yeah, that is what we call as maybe a cultural background. It is not something they're proud of, for instance, to get married at a young age. And when it comes to how to get them to be open more, I think it is important, as I mentioned, the local or focal person in the areas, such as teachers, for instance, and in many areas, it's kepala adat or tetua adat, the head of the village, the head of the tribes, for instance, to come, and then that takes the government to talk to them, to facilitate, to internalize this value of child protection to them. I think that's how to mediate, and this is what successfully been presented and been performed by Indian government. So they invite a focal person, they invite teachers to mainstreaming the issue of anti-child marriage. Yeah, I think hope that answer your question.
Okay, thank you very much. So it is not a short-term process, right?
Sorry, yeah, not
Yeah.
a short-term process. Yes, process.
Yeah, thank you. And are there any questions to Mbak Lara, since she is the only presenter who is able to answer your question directly? Or maybe you can answer directly by turning on your microphone if you want to answer directly. Well, I think there are no more questions. Other questions? I'm still waiting for your question because we still have like 10 minutes in the session.
Or any other suggestion or recommendation what I need to read, that would also help. Well,
yeah, maybe you can provide some suggestion or recommendation to Mbak Lara's research to be improved, right? And for Mbak Laras, good luck for your future research on
thank
this
you.
very interesting and I think very crucial subject.
Thank you.
Yeah, if there are more questions, I think I will wrap this session up because yeah, we're running out of time, and there is another session that will start in 3 p.m. I guess. And I would like to give a brief summary for the session. The progressive nature of ICT is has an increasing impact in many areas, and it has benefits and downsides. And to optimize the benefit, we should maximize the potential of ICT revolution, and it could help in advancing initiative to solve the problems in the society and also to advance knowledge and also science. I think that's all for our session today. I would like to thanks to all the presenters, to those who is able to attend and those who are unable to attend but still present their works, and to all the participants who are joining this session. Thank you very much. Stay safe and have a good day.
Thank you, Bu Ania. Thank you, all participants.
Thank you, Mbak Laras. Oh, one more thing. Before we left this room, can I ask you a favor to take a group photo? So
Sure.
I will ask your favor to turning on your camera and let's take a group picture. I think I cannot change layout. Dear host, can you help me to take the picture?
Let me count down in 3,
Okay.
1. Done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Stay safe,
Bye-bye.
stay healthy, and have a good day.